The Morrie's Automotive Group is out here today with the Hyundai Tucson and the Subaru Crosstrek. What I'd like to do is give you a driving review, show you some stuff inside and outside the cars, and then help you make an informed decision on your next purchase. So the Tucson we have today is the 2016. So this is the new body style. This one is the limited with the ultimate package as well. One of the things that's really cool is that panoramic sunroof. If you've got the kids in the back, maybe you're making cabin trips over the weekend, it really opens up the car and gives it a better feel inside. So this car is basically completely redesigned from the grille to the wheels to the interior. I mean, everything is so nice. Hyundai's come a long way from when they first came to this country, and this car is no exception to great fuel economy, reliability, and a lot of fun. Alright, so now we're behind the wheel of the 2016 Tucson. So this car has come a long way from the original Tucsons when those first launched. It's so quiet and comfortable. I have the radio on here, I'll turn that down a little bit. Basically, when you're behind the wheel, there's 3 different modes you can drive select through, which is your Eco, your Sport, just your regular. This one is the 1.6 liter turbo. And when you put your foot down, you kind of feel an extra little click, and it gets up and goes. And if you have it in sport mode, it'll hold those revs a little longer, and it is really fun to drive. Now, the thing they've done so well with this compared to the previous Tucsons is that it's really quiet and it's a lot more comfortable. These seats are so great in here, fully adjustable, they're heated, they're cooled in this ultimate package we're in today too. And I mean, you could spend some serious time in this car and not have a ton of back pain. You can also adjust lumbar and everything else that way. Things that are cool, this infotainment system, it's a split screen, so you can have one on your radio, one on your map like it's set now. Also, with the center display, there's a ton of different settings with all your trip settings. It's going to tell you your range, your fuel economy, and then it does give you a digital readout for a speedometer, which I like, and that is very easy to get used to. As far as safety equipment goes, there's a ton of it in these cars. It's got the lane departure warning system, which is really cool if you haven't used that before. It can definitely keep you paying attention when you're driving. Also, blind spot detection, one of those things I don't have in my personal car, but it is 100% something my next car will have, because it can definitely help you be safe when behind the wheel. Those mirrors are pretty good sized as well. I know we compared the Subaru Crosstrek that has huge mirrors in there, but these aren't bad. I mean, it gives you more than enough visibility, and out the back you have the wiper there and you can see just fine. So what else do I like about this car? You know, besides all the equipment you get, even if you're looking at the base model in the front wheel drive or the all-wheel drive, I haven't had a chance to drive it in the snow yet, but if it's anything like any of the other Hyundais, like the Santa Fe all-wheel drive platform, or I mean even the bigger Veracruz was, those cars were awesome in the snow. Didn't matter if there was a foot or an inch of snow, it's definitely gonna get you where you need to be. So overall the Tucson, it's so comfortable is something you have to keep in mind. If you're going up to the cabin for the weekend, you get a ton of space in the back. It's got the power lift gate on this one too, so it's easy to get the cooler, the tent, all that stuff in, and you're gonna have room for 4 or 5 adults in the back seat. The panoramic sunroof keeps the kids busy in the back, they can look out, and it gives a bunch of natural sunlight in here, which looks really good. And I mean, overall, between the exterior styling and the way this car just rides and drives, it is certainly one to check out in this mid-size crossover segment. So this is the Subaru Crosstrek. Now this is a 2015 instead of a 16, and that's for good reason. They've been selling out so fast we couldn't get one, but the 16 is going to give you a little bit different grille and a few other things, but this is essentially the same vehicle. Some cool things this has is the symmetrical all-wheel drive system and the 2-liter boxer engine. So what does that mean for you? Wintertime driving in a Subaru is the most fun you can have. It's a very reliable engine as well. It's going to get you pretty good fuel economy matched with the all-wheel drive. Some other cool things would be that Subaru Eyesight technology, so a ton of safety with that as well. When you're driving maybe on a road trip or you're on the highway, it's going to match 3, 2, or 1 car length in front of you, and it's going to keep that distance. All right, so now we're inside the Crosstrek. So who would look at buying this vehicle is kind of the question I get a lot. And that would be someone who maybe likes the outdoors more. Subaru makes a ton of factory options, whether you're putting your bicycles on the roof or a kayak, or maybe you're heading up north for the weekend. You can fit a lot of stuff in this car. And as far as, spending time in the car, it's really nice. It's quiet, it's comfortable. Like I mentioned before, they're very reliable vehicles. So other things I like about the XV Crosstrek is that you can fit 4 or 5 adults comfortably in here, but it doesn't feel like a huge car. It's not like driving around a large SUV, and I think that's why a lot of Americans now are starting to pick up on these smaller SUV, kind of crossover compact SUVs. And that's because they're reliable, they're fun to drive. This car is a blast to drive, especially when you get 2 feet of snow and you don't have to worry about it. That's always a good thing. It's zippy. You kind of get in and go. It's got these paddle shifters. If you want, you can move it over so it's gonna feel like you have a manual transmission. The way this car drives, it does have a little bit different of a transmission than maybe a lot of people are used to, but it doesn't take long to adjust to it. And that's kind of why I like the Subaru. You get in, you know how to change the radio, the air conditioning, everything is easy. This one does have heated cloth seats as well, which are super nice because you don't get so hot like in the leather when it's hot outside, and they don't get freezing cold in the winter. Steering wheel controls, Bluetooth, all that good stuff is in here. And Subaru really makes a user-friendly car. Some of the other cars you can load up with so much technology that can take you weeks and weeks to figure out what you're doing, and half of that stuff you might not even use. One of the other things I really like, the side mirrors. They're really large on this car. Like I mentioned, it's not a huge car, but those mirrors definitely help with visibility. You can easily see what's going on next to you. There's not a blind spot with these added little windows down here, so you don't feel like the pillar is so large that you can't see around, which can happen in some of the newer cars today. Out of the back window, you do get a wiper as well, so you can see. And overall, I've spent a lot of time in these Crosstreks. Like I said, driving down to Chicago, you can set the Eyesight, basically not hit the gas or brake for miles on end, and that's a really nice feature to have. Overall, if you maybe are the outdoorsy type, or you like a reliable car, which would be hard to argue with, and you want something that's gonna be safe and sound in the winter, the Subaru Crosstrek is definitely an awesome option. On behalf of the Morrie's Automotive Group, thanks for watching our overview on the new Hyundai and Subarus. If you'd like to schedule your test drive, call, click, or stop by today. Thanks again for watching, and make sure you buy happy.